Good morning, and welcome to a little bit of mushroom in Auburn, New Hampshire. I'll take a little some of the paths along Lake Massapequa. Take a look at what we can find, and because it's beyond fungi, well, sometimes we'll have to find something besides fungi. So let's take a look. Let's go. Let's go examine a little bit of the forest, and we'll end back at this point in about an hour. So hopefully you guys want to go find something and stay curious, because that's what we do. We'll try to make your journey as good as it could be. But let's get ourselves up into the woods here. We'll introduce ourselves properly. See what's going on. Hoping we'll end up encountering some fungus. We usually do. But you just never know. But we're really close to the Auburn Audubon Society. We actually do walk from this path right over there, but won't today. So take a look around. You can see we got a pine-dominated forest with a little bit of intrusive underbrush and some birch. We're heading over to more of a pine and hemlock, but here we go, right on the path. Kind of inconspicuous, but that's a beautiful one right here, you guys. This is a chanterelle, and we'll be finding a bunch of these, I hope. But here's one. I mean, if I was gonna have one, that'd probably be the one right there. So look at that, pretty cool. And it's actually, they get dried out pretty quick. It's almost powdery, but we'll take a look and see if we can recognize the gills. They do have some forking, the decurrent, which means they come on down here, and also they're not really gills. they're more like ridges. But there it is. There's probably a couple of them right in this general area. And if you're not confident that you found a chanterelle, you can always break them open, and that's what they look like. That one's just a hair too buggy for us, huh? But let's see how it smells, because you should always smell your mushrooms. Really doesn't. I don't find that these around here do, but of course that looks a little dried out. But we're going to take that home so that we can put it in our woods and see what happens. But kind of strange, because it's underneath like a black birch, and typically I find them associated with oak. We'll put that in our bag, and we'll spread the love around the woods, and bring that one home. See what we can do to propagate that particular one. I may even, consider putting it in a petri dish and putting it in the library. Not that you can grow them, but we can put the mycelium out into the forest. But there we go. Look at that. How you like that? Beautiful. They're blackening a little bit, like they've been hit by rain or something has happened with them. But I don't know. I do not know. They're getting old. So, but anyway, we talk about those a lot on here. Only because they intercept the nutrients between the tree and the Russula mushrooms, which we'll probably find some around here, you'd think. Look at these. This is really nice looking little trout lily type of things here. But look at how many flowers. I mean, that one's actually a rather large flower there. But being beyond fungi, we try to find the intertwined relationship, intertangled life that we lead with fungus and everything else. I mean, everything else depends on fungus as much as we do, and you'd be surprised if you've never read The Entangled Life about how entangled we actually are. So here's something that we run into quite often, and if you guys want to be a amateur mycologist, find some birch. But Wow, that's on there pretty good, huh? But there it is. Fomitopsis. And look how it's kind of growing kind of strange there. It's almost like that log had been rolled over at one point. But here's one. Look at that. That's actually worth taking. We'll take that one with us. But look at that. It's it was growing on obviously like that on a fallen tree, and well, you never know. Fungus finds a way, guys. I mean, it truly there are no obstacles with fungus. Oh, look at this chanterelle. Huh. Well, I really didn't come quite prepared to harvest, but we have our trusty Dunkin' Donuts bag, and if you guys think you're going to go out somewhere, you should always bring a paper bag or a wax paper bag. I bring a wax paper bag so that I can collect specimens, but we don't want to leave this guy behind, do you? Like, son of a gun. A little bit of snail trail on that one, but what the hell? That's a beauty. Oh, look at that. Huh. But there you go, chanterelle, you guys. And we can kind of see a little bit of the fork gills in that one. But anyhow, we'll spread that through the forest. And again, kind of a strange, path side isn't strange because that's where we're going to find where they run out of nutrients. But when it comes to the type of tree, I mean, I know out in the West Coast they're more prone to stuff like that. But out here, I mean, literally, I find them in oak forests. So we'll keep our eyes out for black chanterelles. Although if you saw my video from the other day, you know that can be a little bit of an issue. But let's get started up the woods, and then we'll talk a little bit more as we start walking. But how you doing? My name is Ross. I'm roaming with Roscoe. I'm Beyond Fungi. We're going to take a little walk through the woods. We'll see what we see. We'll talk about some stuff, and if you guys have some questions and things that I didn't see in the comments, we're going to stop by and talk about that at the end. So if you want to do a little question and answer type of thing, I'm sorry that half the time I'm looking for mushrooms and trying not to fall on live TV. It is a little tricky if you see what I'm dealing with over here, as far as rocks and roots, and clumsy feet as well. So, but anyway, strap yourself in. We're going to take ourselves an hour walk through the woods of Auburn, New Hampshire, and we'll see what we can find. We already ran into a couple of chanterelles, which were welcome sight, and we'll see what happens as we get further on into the pine hemlock forest here. So we'll come out onto a trail where we'll probably see a couple of other different things, probably in the Russula lactarius genus. But for right now, here we go. Come join me, and let's try to have some fun with fungus. We'll see if we can find something to shine the black light on, or who knows. But let's take a look at what we're dealing with here, and keep the eyes on the road, hands up on the wheel, and up we go. Look at this, perfect stuff, right? Look at that old one. And when it comes to the fomitopsis, the foamy part we've talked before is Latin for tinder. So a lot of times our tinder funguses have that in it, in the wording. And let's see what happens down here. Pretty cool area. But it is a tinder fungus, and we've actually used it to start a fire before, and we'll have to make a whole video of it. I did a little live thing where I couldn't put it out. Actually, it's like incense. Beautiful things, huh? Look at how they're actually blackening a little bit. And if you guys have ever made a tincture out of it, you know that they actually they'll actually turn purple, and so a lot of people will assume that there's some sort of an active thing. They do have certain properties, so I mean, if you're into clandestine medicine, it might be worth it to take a look at it. There's so many better alternatives in this world, and that's what gets us into mushrooms, because even even those fomitopsis ones. I mean, the other birch one that hopefully we'll run into is one of the most underrated medicinals out there. I mean, the betulina, fomitopsis betulina. It's one of the best ones out there. It's a way underrated medicinal, and we talked about it several times about how Utsi the Iceman actually had these particular birch funguses on him, so they were that important. Look at this. Yeah, all right, cool. This is kind of hard to see. I'm gonna munch on this flower for a little bit. They taste a little bit like a bitter pea. I like to chew on them while I'm walking in the woods, just to be, I don't know, but touch with nature. We're grounding. Look at that, you guys. Pinewood ginger tail, and it's in Zarampolina, and we've actually found both of them, the pinewood and the hardwood ginger tail. But let's take a look, because these have a little daintiness to them. They have this little black stem in here, which, you know, you could be like, oh man, looks like a little flammulita. It does. It's not. It's not fuzzy. Not a fuzzy foot. Let's take a look over here. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta be on the look for chanterelles. That's not one. But look at that. You know what that is? That one is why this tree is dead. So hopefully we'll find some good examples of this one. But look at that. We could take that home if we wanted to. And look how cool those ginger tails can cover up this whole thing. So maybe we'll see that at some point and take a picture. But anyhow, this little item that we're looking at right here is, this guy right here is the dye maker's polypore. Its Latin is Paleos Schweizernei. I think it's named after a mycologist. Phaeolus, look at that. Slime mold. So we're beyond fungi. So that's why we'll stop and admire that little beauty, right? But, you know, within hours, that's what it's going to look like. But there it is. Plasmodial mass of a couple of symbiotic things turning into a slime mold. And slime mold are so unique that they have their very own kingdom. So, you know, when it comes to plants, animals, mushrooms, slime mold, yeah. That's how important they are. But anyway, doing their job. And that particular one is a real beauty, but it's actually referred to as dog vomit fungus. And maybe you've seen it in different states in your yard, right in your bark mulch. You know, somewhere where it looks like someone threw up in your yard. You know, and that's the name. So, anyways, here we go. Take a little stroll down this alley here. We'll possibly encounter a couple of reishi on this one. They're usually really prevalent in this area a couple of years ago, but I haven't seen any large fruitings. But we'll keep our eye out, because there's a great spot to find small mushrooms along the edge of the path here, where they run out of food. What do we got? Oh, look at that. Oh, I don't know what the hell that is. Wow. Look at this. I don't know. I don't know. Is it the leftover? Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, that's unique. We'll have to see what that is. But anyways, it's sap. There it is. Big chunks of sap. I should have probably, I know, right? We're always eating stuff. we're always tasting our horticulture. But yeah, just funny how it showed up like that. But you know what it reminded me of? Remember our wax lips, the wax lips that we used to have back in Halloween? Yeah, just like that. I'm gonna talk funny. I guess it's better than burning your tongue off with a lactarius, but there it is. Big chunk of pine pitch. Cool. Is it though? Oh, man. It's stuck all inside of me. Some mycelial growth. That's what it looks like when it's, when it's not a mushroom. And we talked about that yesterday, about how, all mushrooms are fungus, but not all fungus are mushrooms. And even when even when there are mushrooms out, yeah, they're they're not out every year. They're not out consistently. So if you're a fungus hunter like I am, you'll be fairly persistent, because what's here today might not be here tomorrow, and we're interested to see. We're interested to see what we find. But anyway, munching on a little bit of ghost pipe, chewing on some pine sap, and taking a look at what we find here. Looks like a puffball, pigskin puffball, and really small, guys. Don't let that deceive you. They can get rather large, and a lot of times I'll find them directly on the path, but not recently. I've seen a few rather large ones, but pigskin puffball, and well, we'll talk about those a little bit more as they start getting bigger. But that's one of the puffballs you're not going to want to eat. So easy enough to identify. Looks like a football, pigskin. It's got that roughened stuff on it, roughened stuff. But I'll take a look in here. Looks like a great spot, doesn't it? We love this area. It's just that not all the time does it become fruitful, but it sure looks beautiful. And there are some really nice trees in this area. When we come back and looking for something that's associated with beach, I mean, that one's been here a long time, And some of the beech trees in New England can be ancient, but makes me wonder, because this place was fairly inhabited and had a lot of people here. You can see that stone wall is pretty darn old, but it was a part of the local culture here. We're not far from where there was actually a bar, and at the end of our walk here, there was actually bar brothel type of situation. Back in the heyday, Manchester, New Hampshire was the textile industry of the world at one time. And here we go, you guys. A couple of reishi. I really expected to find like a whole bunch here, so I'll take a look around and we'll see. But there it is, and look at the, if you've seen them when they're younger, but look at all the spores. See how that exothermic reaction ends up bringing the heat around, because they're a living creature. They're more similar to humans than plants are. So they have a reaction there that creates heat. But there it is. There it is, reishi. You can see why they call them the varnish cap, but that's gold right there. That's it's good stuff. Put it in your coffee. But yeah, if you can find enough of it, it's worth actually harvesting the sporulation. But take a look around here. Some half expecting to find Amanitas, but like we said, we're finding these ghost pipe. Well, we should be running into something in the Russelolactarius genus here at any point. But they don't necessarily need to have the mushrooms in order to live. They intercept the nutrients going between the mycelium that's underneath our feet here and the tree, that worldwide web network. But anyhow, appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out for a few minutes while we walk through the woods of Auburn, New Hampshire. Roaming with Roscoe live, and you never know, right? Never know what we're going to find. Animal, vegetable, mineral, disappointment. It's all out here in the woods. It's all out here. But let's take a little hike. Feels like a beautiful Sunday morning. We might as well. And you can see that this is a great spot for the fungus to hook itself up. So at some point we may come through here and be kicking stuff around. to the point where, you know, it's like, oh man, not more mushrooms to pick. We'll see. I know, right? That's what they say. That's a tough problem to have sometimes, but it does happen, you guys. If you've ever run across a patch of black chanterelles, like, oh, come on. You know, how long does it take to pick 3 pounds of black chanterelles? I don't know. Too long. But yeah, my teeth are coated with pine pitch, so that was kind of fun. Let's see what we got. It's a beautiful walk, though. Huh? Look at this. Oh, more chanterelles. Well, you know what? If we see them, you guys know, it's funny because on the same path here, I've actually found hedgehogs. Yeah, the Hydnum umbilica, but it wasn't on the path. It was in someone dropped their bag. But there it is, a couple of chanterelles, and you know, it's probably not something we're going to want to eat. They're a little bit past due, but definitely walk them around the woods here, and good sign because these are bigger than what we were finding last week. So a good sign, and we'll end up putting them out in our woods. But the whole thing is they seem to be growing more with pine and hemlock today. And like I said, I'm used to searching in the oak woods, so I've been in the wrong spot. But anyway, we call those the Chantrelles sebaris. They've actually called it. We've actually called it something else lately. But look at that. Been finding a lot of these, not so much in the woods unless they've been aborted. But there it is. Look at this little fella. Gorgeous looking thing. Let's see if we can go this way. Because there it is, the blusher, Amanita. It's a red staining group. There are actually a bunch of them that are very similar. I just did a video down at the lake here. I'll put out today. Same thing where you can see, you know, the different coloration that's happening here on the staining on this thing. So look at that, Amanita rubescens, right in the path too, right? You know, what are you thinking? Well, maybe they're thinking someone's gonna play football with it, and you know, if they do, that's a long ways to go for scattering. You know, you're looking for that. That's what people say about picking mushrooms. Why are you picking them? Well, they want to be picked. That's why. Look at this, you guys. What in the hell are we looking at? Well, son of a bitch. We're gonna do a video, huh? Well, we were just talking about that, and a little strange to see it up this high. So we're definitely gonna do a video. So if you guys can hang out with me for a minute, we're probably gonna do a little roaming with Roscoe here, because that's slightly unusual. So anyway, how about a little bit behind the scenes? What do you guys think? 'Cause this is something else. So anyway, if you guys don't know the Viola Schweitzenii, it's a usually a root rotting tree on white pine, but this is a great example of how cool it looks. So let's get this on. Let's get this before my camera dies, I guess. Huh? Had no idea. But anyhow, we'll take a good video of this for our Beyond Fungi site here on TikTok. Well, you'll probably see it. You'll probably see it here on YouTube too. But anyway, here it goes, and now you get a chance to see exactly what goes on while we're out here alone without you guys. But anyhow, here we go. That's pretty cool. We're gonna get it for iNaturalist. A lot of times we do our video and we don't even take the picture. But here we go. Hello, fungus finding friends, and look what we found today. Son of a gun! Look at that, Viola Schweitzenii. It's the dye maker's polypore, and a really different type of expression here. Because one, we're finding it off the ground, and two, it's kind of shelf-like. It's got a little bit of different expression here, but look at that, very pliable. But here's an old one right here, and still worth taking. You know, it's a dye maker's polypore, so I mean, you could definitely use it to dye any kind of natural fabrics. But a really cool one, and we'll find probably some more around here. But there it is. They're out, and those in your neighborhood on a pine tree. It's time to call an arborist. So there it is, Viola Schweitzenii, named after my mycologist, I'm pretty sure. So there it is, dye maker's polypore. Really a cool one too. Anyway, find stuff and stay curious, guys. All right, my friends, that's how we do it. And that's really something. Let's fly in and take another look at this guy, because it really is. I mean, look at that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, yep. Yeah. So anyhow, I'm hoping we got good Wi-Fi today, guys. So it'd be kind of a bummer if I was out here talking to myself again. It happens. That's all right. I mean, we did get a video, but that's something else, because they look beautiful when you see them. But I really I don't find them elevated very often. I mean, not at least not that high. But they will screw up your roots. That will be the end of your pine tree. And here's a great example right here of brown rot. You can tell it is brown, right? But what happens is when you see this along the path, it's more of a cubed. You know, they're actually the geometric patterns of how the mushroom leaves it. It's caused by mushrooms pulling the lignin out, just leaving the cellulose behind. And we'll find just the opposite too. There's white rot and brown rot. So we'll make it a point to show you some white rot where they dissolve the cellulose. But that's a thing about all this. Look at the funguses all around us here. We've got the lichen all over everything and breaking stuff down. And look we've been finding a lot of these too. That's how we're going to find our russula today, aren't we? Is it? Is it, or do we got a tooth fungus? Oh, wait a minute. I can't quite see that. No, russula. But anyhow, the squirrels leave those out. And the reason we're looking at the underneath side is because, well, you have to find out. Does it have teeth, pores, gills? Some of the jelly ones that we find don't really have anything. Ascomites have these little tiny bottle-shaped things that shoot spores out. So, anyway, yeah, it's a ghost pipe. Actually has almost a reminiscent of gin when I'm thinking about it. Got it back in the craw. But what a cool place, huh, guys? You can access this right from the Audubon Society, but we come in over at the launch, over at the boat launch, and usually take the path straight in. But we wanted to do a little backwards hike here, and look at that. You know, we get stone walls everywhere. Just crazy, just going everywhere. I mean, I was just at a job the other day where I went right through the pond, but the size of that thing. So that's kind of why we come here, though, is that we have a good variety of hardwoods and pines. We just got out of kind of the piney, swampy section. Find the chantrelles. Let's see if we can find chantrelles in where I think we're going to find them. You know, along with the oaks. See what happens. But here we are. Thanks for stopping along. We're doing a little roaming with Roscoe. Found Viola Schweitzenii, the dye maker's polypore. And I'd like to do something with that, but you know, we have a lot of things on our plate. And dyeing fabrics is probably not going to be on my list for till winter, you know. We've got a couple of those at home, so we'll see. But we'll keep our eye out, you know, because things come in cycles, and a lot of times we'll see things that we normally don't see, and then appreciate the cyclic nature of things. You know, it might not be 1 year, 2 year, might be 5 years. Some things don't show up for a lifetime, and that's what makes it exciting if you find them. So, but anyway, we'll get back out onto the path here, take a look at a little bit different terrain, and we'll see what we can see, and probably end ourselves up finding some red-belted polypore, which our West Coast friends find them all the time. We don't find them all that often, and we talk about how we could call them pinicola, or what is it? The other one there, Muncie. But that's a fomitopsis as well. And we talked about fomitopsis. We'll see if we can find a couple more examples. We're in the birch area. We'll probably run across one because you know, Fomitopsis petulina is really, like I said, underrated. But we came out of the swamp. We're gonna head closer towards the lake shore. And if we were gonna take a right-hand turn here, we would soon be at the Audubon Society. We'll probably see the sign for it up here. But anyway, take a look. And a lot of times we'll find stuff right along the path, because that's where the nutrients run out, you know. Like mushrooms, like, oh man, we hit a wall. What do? Start throwing up spores. Hopefully we'll get to the other side, or maybe downtown. You never know. But it seems to be a very good way to support a life system, being able to sporulate and send things out into the world. Seem to have worked for billions of years so far. But let's see, right along here, we've been traveling another rock wall for quite a while. It's kind of strange, isn't it? I mean, this one was actually made as a, you know, as a path, clear this path out. But a lot of them we find, it's like, you're not sure why. Like, why did you put this much effort into a stone wall that goes to nowhere? Can't keep anything in or out. And these rocks just weigh an absolute ton. But it's a Grant State, and we have way too many rocks, so they're everywhere. Here we go. See what we can see this part of the path. Not quite as lush, but I'm almost expecting to find a couple of Amanitas and a couple of boletes in this little stretch here, so hopefully I'm right about that. We did find a couple of unusual things, and of course we always take a look here, because mushrooms being secondary composers, there's nothing better than having, you know, a horse decompose some of this stuff so we can break it down a little further. But we do like finding stuff like that, because it's not something you would find all the time, and makes you wonder how you know, kind of the transpermia type of stuff happens. But got some really cool oak trees in this woods. If we could make it all the way out to the end, which we'll do on another hike, there's a kind of a grove out there that must have been part of the actual area where they had the brothel and bar and all that. Anyway, let's take a little right turn here, and we'll see what we see. Getting a little bit closer down to Lake Massabesic, and this is a protected water source down here, so, you know, as far as mushroom hunting and fishing and that kind of stuff, it's, you know, it's fairly pristine as far as that goes. But it's a great path, and lots of rocks though, so, you know, that's why a lot of times I'm not able to talk and walk at the same time, because I gotta navigate all these rocks and roots, and yeah, it's not a good look. But I will tell you, even without holding the phone or talking, I have done trip and fall out in this particular path. You know, and when you're walking the dog, sometimes it's just as bad. But here it is, early Sunday morning. We'll see what we can see. Doesn't look like, it doesn't look like the woods is lit up with color like we'd like. But sometimes a great little Sunday morning walk is better than just about anything else that we can think of. So we'll take a little walk here. And like I said, if we can make it over to the Fomitopsis, we'll do that. We're gonna we'll end up getting back before the hour mark, and if you guys want to talk and ask me a couple questions, I sure wouldn't mind. And if you guys ever want to do just a live question and answer, send me some messages. You can always meet me over at TikTok too, and we do live over there. But as far as hanging out and talking and doing what it is that we do, as far as examining things and staying curious, I don't have a problem doing it. It's just not the sake of falling and trip, fall, stumble, smash my head open. And you guys can watch a live of the sky above our head for a couple of hours. How dramatic. But you never know. I mean, truth is stranger than fiction when we're out in the woods. And people are always worried about, oh, you're gonna get hurt eating mushrooms. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt finding mushrooms. The eating part's okay, I mean, unless you bite down into a fork, that's that can happen. That's probably where you gotta watch out. Yes. What do we got there? A bunch of these. The mushroom of the year, you guys. The platypus mushroom. I just put out a video yesterday on that one because we found a real big one, and the differences with that, and people always think they look a little bit more like a Plutus cervanus, but you could definitely see the spore print being white. But this place used to be quite the happening area out here. Used to be a lot of activity, recreation, and back in the day they turned this into a protected water source for drinking water from Manchester, New Hampshire. And now it's the second best drinking water in the United States, supposedly. So, come check it out. Come check it out. I don't know, take it for granted, right? Live here all the time. Like, yeah, that's how water's supposed to taste. But let's just see, because this is actually a place where we do find quite a bit of mycological diversity, and not so much today. Like I said, the mushroom of the year. That's the mushroom of the year and ghost pipes. Come on, everybody. Yeah, the platypus ghost pipe tour. Yep. It's pretty neat. Well, we always manage to find something, and we can always go to our old go-to. Because every time we're in the woods, we can find some sort of trichaptum. Seems to be on everything. But here's one here covering this whole birch tree. Looks a lot like Tremides, and who knows, in that shape it could be just about anything, but we see it a lot. But most of them are the violet tooth polypore. That one is probably tooth polypore, but probably not the violet. But we see them a lot. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we don't run across something here along the edge. Like I say, there's a lot of Rustler lactarius species in these woods. And you can tell because we got so many darn ghost pipes out here. And we find those, you're going to find the Russellacei species. But anyhow, we'll come up a little further, take a look at what we see, turn around, and then we'll start closing out the show and seeing if we can't get a couple of you guys in here talking about a few things before we move on with the rest of our day. We'll go out and try to find maybe a little better place to do our mushroom hunting. Not that this is horrible, but we're used to tripping over something every 5 feet, and that's why we can't enjoy a good leisurely hike. But look at this, you guys. This is what I'm talking about right here. That's why we're that's why we're seeing all the ghost bite. But anyway, beautiful rustlers, and don't you just love these things? I mean, they take great pictures. Look at that. You see that one? But this is the family I'm talking about that the ghost spikes are associated with. Look at that, very distinctive. I mean, once you know a rustler, and a lot of them out here. I mean, there's a lot of rustler out here, obviously, But anyway, if you're not familiar with the rustler, well, they're called the brittle gill, and the whole idea is that the species in this group, and also the chalk stem, oh, that one's not going to snap quite as easy as full bugs. But anyway, we talk about it quite a bit with the rustlers because in that group, the way that the cells are aligned just makes them brittle, and one of the defining features. But the stature, that's what we're looking at on a lot of these when we're trying to guess and throw out names right off the bat. We're like, you know the stature of it, whether or not you know what it is. And with red rustlers, I mean, there's like 500 of those. There's a little Amanita flaviconia. It's a little one hanging out on the path. We were finding panther caps though last week, and I don't know. I'd like to find some more of those because they're very interesting and very beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, here's where we're going to probably do our turnaround. But let's go see what we got here, because look at this, you guys. And I've been here doing videos for 2 years on this tree, so they're getting to the end of their time. But here they are. Like I said, not so common around here, but out in the West Coast, they find them all the time. But red-belted polypore, and they can be pretty tough. I mean, if you want to take one of those home, you should probably bring a tool with you. I've had that experience before. I actually had a video where I had one at the top of this tree, and I was taking a stick trying to knock it down, and there's no way. They're right in there. They're right in the tree. But there it is. I used to call those the Fomitopsis pinicola. Again, a tender fungus with the foamy in it, and so in the great world of mycology, it ends up where they've got a different name because they're genetically dissimilar from the ones that are over in Europe. So a lot of times what happens is people will be like, that doesn't grow around here. Well, sure looks like it does though, doesn't it? But yeah, there's a slightly different genetic material. So, but anyway, guys, it's that time of the show where we've got to turn it around, and we'll go do a little bit of talking, and we'll see if we can't fill up the rest of our hour with some sort of fun with fungus. I was looking for something to shine a black light on here today, and no, nothing quite like that. But don't get discouraged. Our season is just starting, and we'll end up having a really decent time taking a walk through New Hampshire. But here's another thing too, because it is beyond fungi. We talk about this. Look at this little trail pom-pom. Yeah, look at that. Lichen. And we talk about that because lichen is a kind of a cool thing that we should take an example from, because of two different life forms that are just getting along out here in the environment, right? They got sometimes 3 different life forms, right? Kingdoms, actually. You got plant and bacteria and fungus. So somehow they managed to get along. And kind of the weirdest thing is that they're actually able to carry on, right? I mean, it's one thing to get along, but to actually transmit those things through time. There's another one of these. They seem to be liking along the path here. But that one, see, I feel like these are slightly different. The orange ones we've been finding this morning, just a slightly different variety of these yellow. But it's a group. It's a group of Flaviconia. Look at this one. It's always fun to find, though, isn't it, you guys? When we find color in the woods, yeah, I really enjoy that. So that was one of the themes for our walk the other day. But there we go. Pretty cool. Do a little fly in and take a look at this guy, because you can almost see the annulus on that one. That little the little skirt there, the yellow skirt that's on the Amanitas. It's a little veil that covers up underneath here. So whatever it is, they like this area, huh? Whatever tree it is that they're associated with, which is the white pine. It's just there's a bunch of other ones here. All of a sudden they decided that this is a great spot for them, even though it's mixed woods. So I don't know. You never know why people set up camp, right? Well, I say people, but ecology. Yeah, mushrooms. Mushrooms are people. You know, give credit where credit's due. I mean, they seem to find their way through many situations and able to procreate. But let's head it on back, you guys, and we'll see what it is that we'll bump across on the way out of here. We were finding a couple different Amanitas earlier this morning, but on this path here we did find a couple of Amanitas and some reishi. A bunch of Chantrelles. That was kind of unexpected, because we don't usually find a lot of them. But that was a good size, so it'd be great if we could go into one of our local woods and just find some. May end up there a little bit later on. But you know how it is, you know, some days you find a whole bunch of stuff, and some days you just find these Flaviconias everywhere. But yeah, we'll look for some more Russula and see if we can find something to take a bite out of. Oh, there's the Russula right there. They can find a lot of these. I mean, they're really picturesque too. But yeah, the red Russulas are something. How about let's take a look, because you know the thing is with these is that they're in the Amanita family. So these you know, if you understand what a medic is, it'll purge you. So that's why a lot of people don't eat these, but there's ways of preparing them. But the whole thing is that let's take a bite, because they're notorious for being super bitter. I shouldn't say bitter. It'll be no, it'll be frighteningly caustic. So a lot of times when you bite into them, your mouth will burn. That's not one. So a lot of people say as long as you don't burn your face off, well, you can cook them. Why not? I don't know. Do your research, so you know, and not everybody gets sick from mushrooms. You know, people are different people, different mushrooms. But if you do, it's because of the chitin. You know, if you're allergic to shellfish, you know what chitin is, and chitin can be really hard for your digestive system. So that's why no matter what. Oh, look at this! This tree actually had reishi. Yeah, someone actually harvested the reishi off of this one. But as we talked about with the chitin, you know, it's like eating fingernails. That's why it wigs me out when people are like, "Hey, you want some raw mushrooms with your salad?" Why? Why would I want that? You know, it's a massive chitin that your body can't really break down. You know, this whole thing about mushrooms, you have to treat them like the other white meat, and everything will be fine. But it's harder than you think to make a deadly mistake, and you just have to be aware. You know, don't go overboard. I mean, what if someone let you loose in a candy store, right? You're gonna eat all the candy. Probably not gonna feel good. But common sense prevails out here in the mushroom world. And you know, like I say, sometimes people get a little overzealous where it's like you see something that's not there. You know, it's you know, you got to be a realist. Do your research. You found what you found. You know, hate to tell you, you know, as much as you squint and try to look at every book and everything like that, you actually no, you found what you found. A little Dacromyces right here. We can get close. The orange jelly fungus has about the end of its time there, but the orange ones will actually give you a little bit of a fruit on it. So what's different about the orange, and it comes in orange, whole different colors. I've never found the snow fungus, the white stuff, but yeah, the jelly fungus comes in all kinds of flavors, and that you can eat too. It's just, you know, I mean, do you want to? It's a texture thing. It gets all slimy in your mouth, and it's chitin. Like I said, raw fungus is not your friend, you know. But here's a good look at this, at the cubing. Look at that. On this, when we're talking about brown rot, you can see how when the lignan's gone, it leaves all the pattern of the cellulose, which ends up being kind of cubey. And that's what's it's kind of strange. Oh, look at this, you guys. Super. So, you want to find some black chanterelles? I guess you can come here. If you find them like right here, there's gonna be just an absolute ton of those. But there we go. On our walk out of the woods, some black chanterelles. And if you try to catch it from this angle, you know, that's if you're looking for black chanterelles, you gotta be low and slow. You can see my video from yesterday. I might do one today too, because if we're finding them, I'm gonna find them everywhere. So, but like I said, it's, you know, you spend a day picking black chanterelles, and funny thing is, you can keep them for, you know, they last for a long time. They dry out really, really nice. Look at this, another rustler. This one's one that we don't run into all that often, so pretty cool. Let's see if we can get it in the sunshine. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I don't even know what they call that one, but look at how that's almost a little bit of variant on color. And let's snap the, see how that snaps? But we're also, this one, when I find these brownish ones, I like to give them a sniff, because in the Pecnoides group, we were talking about it the other day on our walk. They actually have this smell of maraschino cherries soaked in bleach, which is not appealing, but I mean, you know, don't you guys sniff stuff just for the fun of it? Yeah, well, I don't know. I do. I'm curious to see if it does still smell like that. There's no harm in that. I know biting into it is a different thing though, because man, I've had a couple that they've burned their tongue pretty well. They've got me, those lactarius got me pretty well. And a couple of these red rustlers will put a punch on you too. But last week when we left the woods here in one of these little basins, we thought we found a maple lactarius, and well, we bit into it, and well, we were mistaken. That was not it. Morning.
Oh, that's a black.
So anyhow, that's how we found out that we didn't have the right one. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, let's get over to here. We'll take a look at Lake Massabesic on our way out of our little fungus foray. I'm still looking though. I found a king bolete right here one time. It's just, I know, you never know though. Never know. But there it is. Lake Massapequa. We were on the backside of this over here. And we'll come back out to the, what they call it, Deer Neck Bridge. And there's a lot of really cool plants along the edge here. We got a really kind of very aromatic, some sort of spice bush. But look at this. Look how big these blueberry bushes are. I mean, it's right up there. There's a spice bush, and a couple of different things here. but there's on the other side here there was some high bush blueberries as well. But really aromatic, all these different ones here. And you know, when they talk about the high bush ones, they're up there. But on all of our walks here in the woods, the low bush blueberries are just everywhere. But it has a really nice smell right here, you guys. And look at this. What a beautiful day. A beautiful day to get out there. So hopefully you guys can get out and find stuff. Stay curious. Maybe come up with a couple of mushroom pictures or videos, and you're welcome to tag me over on TikTok. I guess you could do it here, but I don't know how. But if you want to repost the video, I'll try to do that for you. Get it out there and show people what we're finding. And let's see what it is we are finding. So we did come up with some chantrelles today. And kind of an unusual horsehoof fungus. Talked a little bit about that. And a couple of amanitas. Still got the yellow ones popping up. And we did have the muscaria last week. We found a bunch of Amanita muscaria. There it is. And on our other show, we actually do a little thing over here. You know what? I'm not sure if we do have spearmint over here. It is aromatic, and I do run into some wild mints for sure. And it's pretty neat to see some of the different things out in here. And I know we had a friend here on TikTok that was in a field of fennel. I can't imagine what that smells like. I mean, it's sometimes too much can be, you know, aromatic can be tough. As I said before on the smell of those ghost flowers, when, you know, it's great for a little bit. But anyhow, we'll come up over here. We'll see if we can't find anything else. We'll say hi to a couple of our friends before we ease on the road. Ease on down the road. But it was a pretty nice walk, and if you guys like that, well, there's more to come, and we will be finding stuff. I mean, we'll be finding a lot of stuff, and we'll try to keep it interesting. But look at it, we got a lot of just beautiful plants here along the edge. We got a gentle breeze. Everything's just smelling just wonderful. Birds are singing. Flowers are blooming. And the mushrooms are mushing. So. But there it is, you guys. Our hour walk in the can. So anyway, appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out. And if you want to give me a follow, subscribe, whatever it is that you do to people, I'd be willing to accept that from you. And you can always get a hold of me. I always try to do that. I'll scroll through the comments here in 1 second, and I'll see what we can do. I thought I saw someone. Yeah, I know you needed pig. Yeah, I thought I saw someone talking about truffles, because yeah, get some struggles. This is a struggle, all right. Yeah. Eat some mushrooms, catch some fish. Yeah, that seems like a good thing. So anyway, as we get going here, let me talk to you again here, because with the eat more mushrooms, that's what we do, you guys. So we we've seen a few things today, haven't we? But anyway, I'd always like to have you guys involved in what we're doing, answering any questions, and further your mycology aspirations. You know, whether or not it's food, medicine, or pictures. iNaturalist, whatever it is. But let's take a look at our pond. I'll take a look at the comments, and we'll bid you a fair adieu. So there it is. Yep. Yeah. What's up? But yeah, watch out for wild hippies. We're not near the cow pasture though, so. But then again, you know, you really got to understand more about what you're doing and stuff like that. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought it would be funny to go into a cow pasture, and well, guess what? Cows didn't think it was funny. So take my word for it. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Run for sure. But anyway, I'll come through the comments here, and if you know, yeah, we're looking for mushrooms out here, but yeah. Not sure if one of them that we saw you can eat. A lot of them, are either too tough or just not great. Yeah. But we, yeah, fungus and fauna. That's what we're in for. We're out here just searching for anything. And no, there is no cubes this far north. I don't believe in any place. And they they are seasonal. You're better to go to Amazon, grab your own kit. But anyway, we'll see what happens here. Yeah. Here we go. So another day of mushroom hunting, hanging out, and doing a little walking, talking on the edge of civilization here. Because if you know New Hampshire, you know that we're just lucky to be able to broadcast here from anywhere. We're up here in New Hampshire, hanging out, having fun, and yeah, I know, right? There you go, James. That's kind of funny, because I had someone say that about when I picked somewhere else. Yeah, this old man came up and, yo, you're gonna die. Yeah, we're all gonna die someday, right? Just probably not from morels. But it is good to be cautious, in everything in our world. So, well, yeah, Chicken in the Woods should be out pretty soon. Yeah. Well, appreciate you guys coming along and enjoying that. And if you enjoy that, you can check out the rest of my channel here. We try to put a minute video up every day, and try to get all of our friends involved too. So if you're friends of the channel and you want to get involved in this, go right ahead. We love interaction, and we love having friends. And come check me out on TikTok as well. And a lot of times, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I got the old fish twerking. Yeah, the fish twerking is working. I know. Well, I must be pretty good at it, because one time I did win a twerking competition where we had to knock the ping pong balls out, but doesn't mean it had good competition. But anyway, you never know what brings the fish to the yard. But there it is. Look at that, a beautiful Sunday morning here in New Hampshire. So we'll get on out of here before we find something else besides beauty. So there it is. What a gorgeous morning. Great way to start it off though, guys. And I really appreciate you guys showing up for this. And you can check this out. We'll post it up on YouTube, and you can walk through the whole scenario with us. And don't fret, it's only getting better from here. But we're gonna go spread those chanterelles we found in my local forest and next to my house. So be well, take care, enjoy, stay curious, and hang loose and be cool, because that's what we do here at Beyond Fungi. And can't thank you guys enough. Come on back, and come see me over at come see me over at TikTok. Hi, Gene. yeah, we give a shout out to Musical Gnome. She's got the fungus bug. You guys will see if you're on TikTok. Go see Musical Gnome, and you'll see what happens when you hang around the fungus channel. Next thing you know, you're out hunting fungus, taking videos, and having a lot of fun. Next thing you know, it's just crazy. You got a house full of mushrooms, and yeah. But anyway, nice to see our friend Gene here from Musical Gnome, and hope to meet a lot of you guys out here, and we'll spend some time out in the woods. Have a great day, guys. Appreciate you showing up, and let's go out and have the best Sunday yet. Find stuff, stay curious, enjoy, and we'll catch you again next time. Thanks for stopping in. Had a great time.